Hi, I'm David from Test Qube, and in total I've written over 3,000 digital SAT practice test problems. Over the last 2 years, Test Qube has helped more than 500 students receive a score of 750 or better on the digital SAT reading and writing section. Today, I'm going to share with you guys how to solve a deceptively difficult question type on the digital SAT reading and writing section. We all know that feeling. Finally past the dreaded logic questions and those confusing transition questions, finishing up with those easy rhetorical synthesis questions. Oh, things are going to be a breeze, right? That's what College Board has tried to make you think, but in reality, we have a different scenario. Let's face it, Blue Book practice rhetorical synthesis questions, especially on the earlier tests, are unambiguously easy. One right answer as clear as day. Students aim, look for a goal, and skip the bullets. Difference between theories? Again, just look for a comparison and skip the bullets. But here's the tragic truth. Well, they throw in not one, but two, even three answer choices that address the student's objectives. These days, the College Board has thrown in some tricky rhetorical synthesis questions. But you may ask, how exactly are they tricky? So upon first glance, multiple answers seem convincing. So as opposed to skipping the bullets like we traditionally do, this time we have to read the bullets in detail. If the answer contains one or more of these things, immediately throw it out. 1. New information. 2. Contradictory information. Or 3. Missing information. In looking for an example of this kind of problem through numerous College Board practice tests, I wasn't able to find a single one. But luckily on QBank there was one example of this, and let's go over that example. Go ahead and pause the video and give the question and its answer choices a read. So upon first glance, the student's objectives seem easy, right? The student wants to summarize the study's findings. So let's look at the answer choices here. So if we look at A first, it says, to arrive at these findings which describe dual methods of processing smells in the piriform cortex, he and Chen devised a study using mathematical models. Okay, so we know that we're not talking about findings rather than some sort of process, so we can cross out A here. Let's look at B now. He and Chen showed that olfactory information is captured by cells in the piriform cortex, where the perception of odor forms. Okay, this sounds like a finding, so let's not eliminate it yet. Let's look at C here. Using mathematical models, P and Chen devised a study to better understand the workings of the brain's olfactory system. Okay, so this is not a finding, and so we can eliminate C. Then D, according to P and Chen, the brain can toggle between capturing olfactory information at a given moment and tracking changes in that information over time. This also sounds like a finding. So here's the problem. We have both findings for B and D. So that begs the question, which answer choice is actually right? So we need to look back at the bullets, and we can see that with the bullets, the third bullet here says they found that certain fibers allowed the brain to toggle from one method of processing smells to another in one method. And so after that, they give an example of two different methods, right? So they say in one method, cells in the piriform cortex capture olfactory information at a given moment, and the other, the cells track changes in olfactory information over time. So looking back at the answer choices, after reading the bullets, we do know that B in this case is a finding, but in this case, B has missing information in that it's only talking about one method, but not the other. So that's why we can pick D in this scenario. Okay, so now let's try another question for practice. This time we're looking at one of Test Qube's newly upcoming released tests that will be available to the public very soon. So without further ado, go ahead and I'll give you a little bit of time to read this question. Okay, so here we have two objectives. The student wants to highlight both the uniqueness and musical applications of the theremin. So let's reread the options. So option A says, the theremin, an electronic instrument played without touch, produces eerie sounds and is commonly featured in science fiction film scores, although it is challenging to play. So here it seems like they address both the uniqueness and musical applications, so let's not get rid of A. Let's look at B now. Invented by Leon Theremin in 1928, the theremin relies on touchless controls to produce futuristic music for experimental and traditional genres alike. So here again, it seems like we have an answer choice that potentially addresses both the uniqueness and musical applications. Then let's look at C here. C says, known for its unique sound, the theremin is used mainly in horror movies and requires specific pitch and volume adjustments made by the player. This also sounds like it highlights the uniqueness and musical applications of the theremin, so we can't eliminate it either. Let's look at the D here. The theremin, a 20th century invention by Leon Theremin, is played by pressing on its antennas to control pitch and volume, producing sounds for various musical genres. This doesn't necessarily sound unique per se, and it doesn't necessarily highlight specific genres. And so D is a little bit weak, so let's focus on A, B, and C here. So we have multiple answers that might be addressing both the uniqueness and musical applications, but we need to look at the bullets to see which one makes sense here. So we can see that here, on the fourth bullet, it says that the theremin is widely associated with eerie or futuristic soundscapes, often used in science fiction film scores. Okay, so if that's true here, when we look at the various options here, first of all, looking at C, they talk about the usage of the theremin in horror movies, but there's no mention of horror movies whatsoever here, and so we can eliminate C here. What about B? Invented in Leon Theremin in 1928, the theremin relies on touchless controls to produce futuristic music for experimental and traditional genres alike. So there's no mention of traditional genres here, and so we can eliminate B. What about A? The theremin, electronic instrument played without touch, produces eerie sounds and is commonly featured in science fiction film scores. So this is exactly verbatim what was said in the synthesis bullets, and because B and C introduce what's actually wrong information, the only answer that makes sense here would be A. So I hope today was helpful for you guys to learn exactly how to approach those unexpected, tough rhetorical synthesis questions. And in the future, if you need any more help in preparing for the exam, tune in to all of Test Qube's regularly uploaded videos, and also try our practice test volume that is continually expanding. So thank you, like and subscribe. Bye!